see this color? It's called melanin. Melanin makes this. How much is melanin on the market? Anybody know? Do you know? Do you know? $450 a gram. A gram. So some of you people with everything around, you are multi-millionaires. If you're small, you are a smaller multi-millionaire. If they could harvest it from you, and they probably can, you are worth more than gold. Clap for yourselves.
Hello guys, this is Jibril. I welcome you once again to Authentic Plus TV. When we meet like this, it means there's an important issue to discuss. And today, I have with me here a mother, a very beautiful woman of a very good standing. And there is an event today that demands that we speak about it, and that is Black Our Story. And she's the brain behind the whole thing. So once she's here, I would want us to listen from her the inspiration. What is the motivation to start Black Our Story? And before she does that, she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. So, Madam Sherry Thompson, you're welcome to Authentic Plus TV.
You're doing Sherry Thompson, aka Mama Lou.
AKA Mama Lou.
MAMALOO. Every poo deserves a Lou.
right.
So it was toilet sanitation advocacy that I started with. And but today we're not going to talk about toilets. We're talking about the Black Our Story Festival that has led into the Black Our Story podcast, that's leading to the Black Our Story organization. And it's a movement, so we're a Black Our Story movement. And at some point down the line, we will help other people tell the African story. So that would be the Black Our Story Foundation. This is the original story that we have. A while back, I said history is his story. Other people telling our narrative. And we are not selling ourselves. We are actually selling other people's narratives about us. And we've got to stop that and embrace our own narrative. Tell our own story, our own way, our experiences, our culture, our tradition. So that's what this is about. And we are basically looking at Africa rising. When we embrace who we are as a people, who we are with an identity, we're not having an identity crisis, then when we have the real us, the original us, then we know that we can rise because we know who we are. You have to know who you are in order to rise. You have to know who you are.
So is it because our story was being told by other people in
and it wasn't
wrong
ours.
perspective?
Yes, that's right. It's not ours. It's his. And so if a person is telling you about yourself, do they really know about you? Have they been inside you? Do they know what's in your mind? Or they're just kind of presupposing what is in your mind? You have to tell somebody what is in your mind for them to know who you are. That's it. Very simple.
So why now? Because if we didn't tell it before, because I know that Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, George Padmore, they were doing it when Kwame Nkrumah invited him to
That's right.
over to Ghana
That's
in
right.
1961. They started the Encyclopedia Africana project.
That's right.
Telling the African story, writing about African life, about how our culture is supposed to be and all that. But
And what happened?
there was a curtail after all these people passed.
Yeah, because for some reason, we don't understand building a legacy. We don't have generational wealth. We rather talk about generational curses. We're really good at that.
Yeah.
Going to church, oh, there's a generational curse on you. But have you built generational wealth for your children and your children's children? Have you done that? No. So when a person's legacy is there and the person dies, nobody takes up that story. They just want to do their own thing. Everybody's so independent. But that wasn't the African way. We were communal people. We are communal people. And so we're to think about not only ourselves, but your story becomes my story, becomes our story. Unless all of Africa is free, we can't talk about Ghana freedom. To be very honest with you, we can't do it. So we are tied with each other. And it has been intentional that colonial powers bring divide and bring divisiveness within the African paradigm. So that you have countries that feel that they're better than another country, that, oh, their GDP and their, we gotta rise together or we don't rise at all.
We gotta rise together or don't rise at all. So you believe in the idea that was professed by Kwame Nkrumah on the 6th of March 1957,
right.
when he delivered the independence
That's
speech
right.
at the Polo Grounds and said that the independence of Ghana was meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent.
Not only the African continent, but the African people, because we go past the continent.
The continent, yeah.
The diaspora is huge.
Sure.
The Caribbean is actually taking the lead in some of the things that Africa should be taking the lead. For example, reparations,
Yeah.
Now, I'm not one to sit and go back and say, we should look at past, yes, they're happening. But right now, things are happening right now that need to be repaired today. So that in future, I don't have my descendants talking about reparations from what has happened now. Let's repair it now. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Why are you allowing these people to take over your mineral wealth, your oil wealth, your agricultural wealth, your human wealth? Why are you allowing this? Let's repair it now. Let's stop that now. Let's find the way forward for our people. And once we do that, then we become a power to reckon with. Right now, we accept anything. Niger, that story is so funny. Uranium, 80 cents on the dollar? They said, no, we got to stop this. Uranium is now $200. You buy it for $200.
Wow.
Okay? Now, Niger is projected to be the 4th fastest growing country in Africa. Why? Because they made a decision, and we talked about that today. When you make a decision as a nation to do a thing, and you ride with that decision, you can grow. You must make a decision for the nation so that everybody comes together. It's not this person is here and everybody is down there. You need to make a decision for the nation. You need to make a decision for the people.
So from that perspective, then the whole idea about Black Astoria is like a movement, Rise Africa movement. Am I getting that perspective correct?
We're moving up. We're moving to understand ourselves. If you understand who you are and whose you are, then you have power. If you understand who you are and whose you are, then you have power. And you can't just be a person in and of yourself. You've got to give credit to a higher being. And that higher being establishes your foundation.
Okay.
establishes your destiny.
That's right.
Okay?
So where do we see Black Art Story? What is the future like?
Well, this is the second edition, and we've included 4 pillars: health and resistance to enslavement. Then you have agriculture and food security, which is very important for
Sure.
Africa. And then our story is really told in our fashion, in our textiles. You know, what we wear and how we wear it, that also tells our story. So we will continue exploring the different pillars of our identity. And once we explore them fully, give people the knowledge that they need to have in order to understand those sectors, those pillars, how we are in all of those places, those aspects. So we are gold mining.
That's right. Your final word to the African community here in Ghana and in the diaspora.
I like what one of our participant speakers said. If you are not selling, you are sold. If you are not selling your culture, you are sold somebody else's culture. We need to be selling our culture. We need to be buying our culture. We need to be owning our culture.
Thank you very much, cherished audience. Kindly subscribe to Authentic Plus TV. And then when the audience want to follow you, where should they follow you? On Instagram?
No, if you want to follow me, you will Google my name and see who I am because I'm on Google.
So Google her name, Madam
Sherry
Thompson.
Yeah.
And then you
Ghana, put Ghana.
Ghana.
And you put Mama Lou, Mamaloo.
Mama Lou.
Yeah, things
She doesn't
come up.
joke with that, you know?
Things
Mama
come
Lou.
up. Things
Yeah.
come up. Things
Yeah.
come up. You know?
Yeah, so that's Mama Lou for you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, hello viewers, this is Jabril on Authentic Plus TV. I have my beautiful sister here by name Delasi. So this is a special event, Black Art Story. I want her to share with us her thought about the program, and I'll just ask her just 2 questions because of time. Share with us, what is the Black Art Story all about?
Well, Black Art Story Festival is really about upliftment and sharing about tradition, about talking about our history, and therefore establishing what our future will look like. And I love that this festival has attracted people of all ages. We've had small children of about 3 or 4 years, and also our lovely kings and queens in their senior ages, and they've all come together to be here, congregate, share, and learn from one another. And I've enjoyed it so much. There's food and games, which I'm going to tap into very shortly, but the speaking panels have been very inspiring. I just finished speaking, and I really enjoyed the discourse and the conversations.
Yeah, during your speech, you seem to be very inspired and particular about skin. Can you tell a little bit about your motivation? Why are you so passionate about it?
Yes. Well, colorism is a global issue, and skin bleaching is something that happens everywhere in the world. But I am an African woman, and so I believe nobody really cares about us more than we do. So if me as an African woman, if I don't make it a point to educate as many Africans as I can on the dangers of skin bleaching, I feel like I'm not doing my purpose. I'm not serving my purpose. I believe I'm very privileged. I grew up in the US. I got to travel a lot. I went to the best schools. And because of all this privilege I have, it's my responsibility to give back to my community, to give back to my country, and to do the best I can to make Africa the fullest potential that it can possibly reach. And I think it starts with us. So in that way, that's what really drives me and inspires me to educate young people and old people about these health concerns.
Yeah, you had, or somebody told you something related to your color in a mix of your friends that really got you affected emotionally. my question is, how were you able to bounce back? Because, well, listening to the presentation and what he told you about you going to be the last to be found in the midst of your friends because of your color, how did you bounce back? Because it really kind of, demeaning.
Yeah, it was very demeaning. I was very hurt. I was only 16, so I was still a child, dealing with something like this. But after I really sat down and I thought about the situation, and I thought to myself, what could it have been that would make somebody feel that they have to say something like that to me? And made me realize that my spirit, my energy, my confidence is so big that he felt the need to try to reduce it, to bring it down. And I actually looked inside myself. I felt very proud of myself because I felt like, wow, he wouldn't have even bothered to waste his time with somebody he felt was insignificant. But because my energy is so big and because he can feel my power, he felt the need to try to bring me down. And thinking about it in that way really helped me to get past the whole situation and know that some people in this life are insecure and you can't let their insecurities affect you and bring you down.
That's very powerful, very, very, very powerful. And lastly, Afrofusion.
Yes.
Just one line and there we go.
Oh, okay. You really want me to just do something?
Yeah!
Okay. Let me think. Okay. The game is dirty. I flirted death before 30. I got a lot to say, I'm wordy. Don't let the sexiness fool you, I'm nerdy.
I was going to come with a beat.
Oh, really? Okay. Walk in rooms with the candle lit. Spirit bright, they can handle it. Well, your man, I can handle him. I spit all crazy, I'm emptying out the clip. Boom, 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 boom. More vim for the room. Grammy coming soon. I'm with the whole gang and a couple of goons. They say the girl is too spicy. All the bullets call me wifey. She be so cool like the night breeze. She be like kryptonite. You be say antifreeze. You see, I know move for hype. Can feel you if you know the vibe. My haters, I'm giving them life. They stay up all night. They try to bite. If it turns. We get wins. You see how I'm moving? I mean, check my whole team. Also like beam, boom. Yeah.
Charlie, this is amazing, man. This can only happen in Africa, man.
Yeah.
This is Africa
West
power.
Side.
West Side. This is Africa power. So when people want to reach you,
Oh, yes. So if you want to reach me, you can find me all over the social medias at Delassie. That's DELLASIE, Delassie.com. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere is Delassie. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
So pleased and happy to have with me Mami Sewa, who is a speaker at this event. So I want her to share with us, moments of her presentation to us, which she thinks is very key to, our existence as Africans and what we need to do. So Mami Sewa, I welcome you to Authentic Plus TV.
Thank you.
What do you have for us?
So what I have for you is actually my book, Finding the Person Called Me, and the focus of Finding the Person Called Me is actually challenging us to take the time to find ourselves. Who do we say we are? How can you tell a story when you actually don't even know who you are? So what story are you saying? Are you just saying something that somebody told you so therefore you repeat it? So if we're going to tell Africa's story, can we tell Africa's story from the place of our understanding as to who we say we are, as opposed to somebody just telling us? And so that's what I spoke about. We actually even went through the steps as to how you can begin to be able to write your own story by finding yourself. And so,
This is a topic that one would ask, that finding myself, how do I find myself? I am me, I am Jibril. You are Mami Sewa.
So beyond Jabul,
Okay.
what is there? So one of the questions that I gave to the audience was, what do you want to be remembered for?
Okay.
So if I was to ask you, what do you want to be remembered for? Can you tell me?
Okay, I want to be remembered for the person that was very selfless, dedicated to the cause of not only his immediate relation, but to helping to solve the challenges that others are going through. That is what I want to be remembered for.
Good. Now ask your viewers, your audience, how many people can actually confidently answer that question? Even better yet, how many of them can confidently say who they say they are? That's simple questions. And that's what Finding the Person Called Me is about. It's actually a virtual program that we take individuals through the journey of one, finding yourself. But beyond finding yourself, you have to do something with what you found, just like what you're doing. How do you go about putting that story together and now start breaking it down to do something about it?
Okay, so what it means is that after I have found it myself with all that I say, I need to work towards it.
Oh, yes. What is good of knowing if you're not going to do anything with it? So beyond just knowing who you say you are, beyond just telling people your story, now what are the steps you go into? Because now for people to remember, they have to see it. How are they going to see it if you don't do it? Okay? So, yeah. So that's what, I mean.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful. So is that what all this program is about, Black Our Story?
Black Our Story is being able to tell the story of us. So Africa as a continent, how can we tell the story? You know the old saying, until the lion is able to tell, or as a historian, the tales will always glorify the hunter. So until we as Africans are able to tell our story, the stories that's going to come out will be something not to our advantage.
Okay, so why has it become necessary that we have to tell our story as Africans? Why has it become necessary?
Why not? When are we going to tell the story? What better time to tell the story? When? What do you think?
Who are we telling this story to?
Generations to come. You have to start somewhere. Because at the end of the day, those coming after us, when we are gone, what story are they going to tell? So if we're not saying anything, we are not helping ourselves. And keep in mind, there have been so many different stories that have gone, and it's about time that we actually correct these stories because they don't benefit us. I mean, Africa being the black hole, I'm not even going to say what a former president even said about it. When are we going to project that, no, there's so much more in here, over here. Everybody's coming here, but they come in and take it. When are we going to project it? Us.
That is very deep, you know. That's very deep. Because it's like we've been slighted, you know. It's like,
but whose fault is it? It's time you take responsibility and say, okay, look, I know it has happened, it has done. So yes, going forward, what am I going to do? Take responsibility. And begin by saying, okay, this is what I have seen. So you have to stop and examine your own life, examine what is happening around you, examine the changes that you want to see, and take responsibility and say, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to come and do it. I am going to do it. But enough for me to do it, I have to recognize what it is that is within me, what I'm capable of doing, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and then step out and do it.
Did we slack as Africans? Because taking it from the
perspective, I'm not even going to say, what do you think? You're asking me, I'm asking you, what do you think? If you look around, are you happy?
Guys, I think she wants me to answer the question myself, and I think we slack, man. Because taking it from the perspective of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, and then Marcus Garvey, George Padmore, the Pan-Africanism, the unism that they were fighting for as Africans. The moment we haven't achieved all that means we slacked.
So what's next?
What next?
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking about this. So I'm hoping it wouldn't just be a bunch of listeners, it wouldn't just be a bunch of talk, but we'll actually take the initiative and start doing something. Let's move from just talking. Let's start doing.
Good. Let's move from just talking.
Yeah.
Let's start doing it. Thank you so much, viewers. This is Jobriel. Kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel and share. Make sure that this very conversation reaches everywhere on the globe because very, very important. Where were you? Were you an African American?
No, born and raised in Ghana.
Born and raised in Ghana?
Yes, sir. So you can find me on mommysoa.com,
okay,
or you can go to ftpcm.org, which is the abbreviation of Finding the Person Called Me. and you can learn my story.
So her story, follow her IG account and then.
Finding the Person Called Me on IG and mamisawa_FTPCM.
Hello guys, this is Jibril on Authentic Plus TV, and today happens to be a very important day because Africa, and as Africans, we are telling our own story. And so today there's an event dubbed Africa Our Story, Black Our Story.
Black Our Story.
Black Our
Yes.
Story, actually. So with me here is a very beautiful sister of mine. You can tell it from wherever you are. She's a very beautiful lady here. And then she's going to tell us something small because she was a speaker. And so she actually spoke about mental health. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then walk us through mental health? What is it about and why is it so important?
Yes. So my name is Porsha Richardson. I am a global impact strategist. I'm the founder of Tumani DC Incorporated and the Impact Institute. My work is built around purpose, built about impact, but most importantly, it's built around storytelling. That's why this festival is so important, because we have to own our story. Even the crazy, ugliest parts of our individual stories is what makes us so unique, what makes us special, what makes us empowered, and what makes us have a sense of pride as Black people. As a Black woman, as someone who has returned to Ghana to find parts of myself, parts of my ancestry, parts of my identity and my history, to really know who I am, in conjunction with knowing who I am in the image of God, has allowed me and empowered me to own my personal story, to know that I have the power to make a difference in my community, that I don't have to accept the narrative that someone else has created for me, but that I can be the change, that I can rewrite the story as many times as I like, that I can shift the narrative, that I can be a generational curse breaker, that I can be a source of generational healing. That is what Black excellence and Black empowerment looks like, and that is really the essence of this event. When we come together and we own our stories and we share our collective successes, joys, struggles, challenges in such an empowering way, we can really create change in our own community, and we can also create opportunities for our community to heal itself.
Why do you think it has become so necessary for us to tell our story as Africans?
It is necessary because, as it was shared today, if we don't tell our story, somebody else will. People who have been telling our story for many years. It is skewed, there are lies, there's deceit, there are parts of the story that causes us to look down on ourselves, to feel like we're not good enough, to feel like we can't achieve purpose, that we can't achieve excellence. So it is important for us to tell our story from our perspective, our experiences, not someone else's experience, not someone else's perception of us, not someone else's downplaying of who we are. When we tell our story, we tell it from a place of power, from a place of uplift, from a place of excellence, from a place of purpose, from a place of who we are in God and not who the world says we are. So that's why it's so important for us to tell our story.
So linking mental health to Black Our Story, where is the link?
The link is very prevalent, right? Because the mental health is how we take care of ourselves. And as a community, we have been taught that we just struggle. We just be strong, push through it, don't complain, don't talk about it, don't say anything about it. And that is a big part of my work here in Ghana, because I know that we don't really like talking about mental health. But mental health is so important, because if we don't take care of ourselves, what do we have to give to others? How are we going to fulfill this gift, this purpose that we have on this earth, if we're not taking care of ourselves? And understanding that it is okay for us not to be okay. We have been through a lot as a community. We have experienced generational trauma. We've experienced racial trauma. Many of us have had individual experiences that has really pushed us to where we are today. So when we take care of ourselves, it really empowers us to the next level. Being emotional intelligent is being self-aware. That's a part of mental health. Understanding your triggers and how to cope through them when life gets rough, like what resources and tools do you have in place that you can can lean into, right? Yes, prayer is great. Prayer is an amazing tool. Meditation is an amazing tool, right? But talking to someone is also an amazing tool. Having someone that can help you process your thoughts, process your experiences, those are amazing tools too that we have to tap into as a community so that we are well. If we're not well, we can't do the work. If we're not well, we cannot push us forward if we're not taking care of our whole self. That's your body self, your mind self, your spirit self, your soul self. You have to take care of your whole self to really do the work.
Yeah, this is very deep, man. I mean, it's so deep. She's highlighted a lot of stuff. But then, let's look at this. When I have an issue and I am unable to tell somebody, and the thing is actually pressing me down, is that a mental health issue?
That is. So what you're talking about is you are suppressing your challenges, right? When you're suppressing, when you're sitting in silence and you're not telling someone what you are experiencing and you're not leaning on help, or maybe you don't feel like you have someone that you can talk to, you start to suppress it. You start to convince yourself that you're okay when you're really not. You start to say to yourself like, I'll be fine, but you're not addressing the issue. And so you go through life and maybe you're dealing with people and you notice that you have an attitude sometimes, or you may be quick-tempered because you're frustrated, or maybe you have a business and you're not engaging and communicating with your clients in a healthy way. That could be rooted in you not dealing with or addressing that mental health issue that is bothering you. So I always encourage people to find your tribe. It may not be like your parents, it may not be your siblings, it may not be your immediate family, but one of the unique things about life is that we can create our family. Like we can create what family looks like. So find somebody who is a safe person, a safe space for you, someone you trust. It can be a member of your community, it can be someone in your church, but find somebody that you can trust that will listen to you and hear you. Everybody needs a person, because the more you hold it in, the more you suppress it, at some point it's going to explode. And it usually explodes during a time that is most inconvenient, and it can make you miss out on opportunities. It can make you miss out on your gifts and your purpose. It can push you further behind and not further ahead. But when you are mentally well and you take care of yourself, you're not only able to do great things for you, but you're able to do great things for other people.
Hello guys, my sister is loaded, man. She's loaded with all the information that you need as Ghanaian, as Africans all over the globe. So if I am unable to express myself, tell what is wrong with me to somebody, and for them to give me the assistance that I need, such a person, what does he need to do?
Yeah, some of the tools that I use when there are moments where I can't reach somebody, right? I like to journal. Journaling and writing out your thoughts is very therapeutic. Finding a book where you can write out how you're feeling, what you're thinking.
Just by writing them down.
What you're experiencing. Yes, write them down. Write your thoughts. I even write my prayers. I like to write out my prayers so that I can go back through my book of prayers and I can be grateful, because I'll start to look back on those prayers when I was suffering, when I was sad, and I'll realize like, wow, like God is answering my prayers. These are answered prayers, right? So write out your prayers, journal your thoughts, journal your feelings, but also like breathing. Mindfulness is important. Sometimes we just need to pause, take a deep breath, sit still, listen to the sounds. Ghana is beautiful. If you sit by the water, you can hear so much of God's beauty in nature, right? You can hear the leaves moving, and sometimes that is a way to clear your mind from all of the noise and the calamity that we often hear around us. So mindfulness is good. Music is healing. Sometimes it may be Afrobeats music, it may be some good mindfulness music. They even have playlists where you can listen to the sounds of nature and things like that, or spa music. That music is also very healing. So there are some really good tools that you can use and coping skills that you can go to when you don't have a person to talk to as well.
All right. So when you were speaking, I realized you mentioned stuff like identifying who you are and whose you are. What do you mean by that phrase? Whose you are?
Yes. I always make sure I talk about that in this context. It's 2024. Everybody is online on TikTok consuming information. And the more information we consume online, the further and further it can push us away from who we really are. Because we start to comparing ourselves to other people. We want to look like Beyonce. We want to dance like this person. We want to talk like this person. We want to walk like this person. When God created us very uniquely, He designed us to walk a certain way, to talk a certain way, to behave a certain way, to impact a certain way. And so the more we try to align with what the world's image is of us, the further away we get from God's image of us. And it's really in God's image that we find what we are truly supposed to be doing in this world. Some people are starting businesses because it looks cool online. They're not starting businesses because they know that that is a part of their assignment. That is what divine purpose looks like for them. So we have to be careful. One, reading the word. God shows us in the Bible who we are, what we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to walk, right? But also when we are spiritually connected, He will show us through our life, through our pain, through our suffering, through our divine moments, through everything in our lives that happen, we can discover who we really are and who He created us to be. That's how we find our why. That's how we find our purpose. And usually, unfortunately, but fortunately, it's in our pain. Some of our most painful experiences is what leads us to greater work. Like if I didn't go through growing up with a father who was on drugs or in and out of prison, I probably wouldn't feel as empowered to serve young people. But I can relate to their experiences because a lot of the young people I serve, they also have a parent who is absent. They've also gone through struggles having a single mom or a single dad raising them in the homes. So when I'm speaking to them, I'm speaking from a space of experience, not just trying to talk at them and tell them what they need to do. And so that's how I've turned my pain into purpose. So we have to look at our lives. Your life will show you what you're supposed to do. God has given us the blueprint, but we're looking at all the wrong places. We got to go to Him and we got to tap here. And that's how we find the real blueprint for life.
Hello guys, I need to bring her back onto the screens again for you. I mean, she's fully loaded. Thank you, Porsha.
Thank
It's
you.
been nice having you.
Thank you guys so much. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Authentic Plus TV. And follow me on Instagram at I am Porsha Richardson. Thank you.